Okay, I'm going to break this lesson down into about 3 different sections that all deal with conversion to grayscale and hand coloring. Now, the first one we're going to do is really a mixture of both, just to show you some of the good ways and the bad ways to do these particular processes. Now, we're going to begin again in the file browser, and I want you to open up this file that's called fingernails.jpg. Just double click to open that up. And by all means, press the F key to make it go full screen so the file browser disappears in the background. And again, we're looking at this at a slightly reduced resolution of 33%. So I'm just going to press Command plus or Control plus on the PC to enlarge this up to 50%. Now you can press that shortcut another couple of times and go up to full resolution. This is a very high quality image, so you can always play around with this in the future and look at different ways to do hand coloring yourself. Now I'm just going to press Command minus twice to go back down to 50% here so we can see what we're going to do. Now, if you're doing a conversion to grayscale, the most natural function for anyone to do is obviously go to the image menu, go down and choose mode, go ahead and choose grayscale. Now, it will ask you, you wish to discard the color information, go ahead and click OK. You have a grayscale image. Now, you will lose a lot of information doing this, so I'm going to show you a better way to do that in just a second. However, the other downside to using this particular command is that it's destructive. You've lost any color information, so let me show you a couple of ways that you can do it non-destructively. Let's just undo that, so we go back to our RGB file. What we could then do is use our paintbrush. So come across to the tools palette for a second, select the brush tool, just the standard paintbrush tool. You can see I'm still on a 700 pixel brush, so I'm just going to use the left square bracket key on the keyboard just to reduce this down to something more manageable, maybe a couple of 100 pixels. And then make sure that my colors are set to black in the foreground, white in the background. Very quick way to do that is simply to hit D on the keyboard, which restores your default colors. And you'll see that the foreground color here in the tools palette is now set to black. Now, if you were to obviously paint over this image at this point, all you would do is fill with solid black pixels. However, if you go to the mode menu at the top here in the options bar where it says mode normal, you could come down and choose the color option, second one up from the bottom. And now whenever you click and drag and start painting over the image, you'll see that you're actually replacing the color pixels with grayscale pixels. Okay, now this is giving me a bit more selection on this. You see I'm able just to sort of paint over the top part of the image, but maybe keep some of the bottom half. But again, the problem with this particular format is it's destructive. Any of the pixels we're removing here by painting over them will be very difficult to get back in the future. Now there's the magic eraser, there's the history brush. There are different ways of doing that, but I prefer to preempt that by being a bit more careful with planning. So undo again, Command Z or Control Z back to the point where the RGB image is in full effect. And this time, let's come across to the Layers palette and create a brand new layer. Now it's just going to be a standard empty layer. Come back up to the brush options at the top and change the color mode of the paintbrush back to normal. This means that anything we now paint on this particular layer, don't forget we're on layer 1 over here, will paint using solid black pixels. However, if you come across to the Layers palette and where it says normal mode for the blending of the layer itself and go down and choose color, any of the black pixels that have been painted will now apply grayscale through to the layer beneath. This then gives you the flexibility to continue painting over that layer in exactly the areas that you want to be and simply remove all of the color from certain parts of that image. Okay, so I'm just roughly going along the outside here. If you find that the brush is a little too soft around the outside, by all means, just make it a little bit smaller. So maybe go down to 100 pixels and just continue painting. At any point, go ahead and hit the Tab key to remove all of the palettes. And we can just fine tune our way around the edge here. Let's continue over the fingers. Just paint in there. Doesn't matter if we go over the fingernails, we can do that in just a second as well. And let's go over the top of all of the fingers there. Okay. So we've now removed all of the color from pretty much the entire top half of the image and just left the sofa here in the green. Let's bring all the palettes back by hitting Tab again. So like I said, everything we've done here has been done through a layer blending mode. If we turn off its visibility, our RGB image is still in effect. So this is a great non-destructive way to apply grayscale to your RGB image.